Evening, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earth Watch on Monday, April 10, 2023 on our planet. Hope you're all well. I want to do a follow-up to my Facebook post. And I am taking a compilation of information from four very important sources. First and foremost, from his playlist in Scripture. Next, from Edgar Casey, the American sleeping prophet, who many of his predictions have come true. Thirdly, from Mr. John Moore, the Liberty Man, who I often give reference to. And finally, from yours truly, who has been watching our planet every single day for the past 6 years and now begins to see an intensification of Earth changes. Now, I speak of the gravitational and electromagnetic influence from an approaching large celestial body. Let's call it the biblical wormwood. You can call it Nemesis, Nibiru, Planet X, Planet 9. It's all the same thing. Now, it doesn't have to make a collision course into our planet. It just has to come close enough for its gravitational influence to act on ours. Now, these changes are going to begin to manifest gradually, but as indicated in Scripture, we're going to see it all within our lifetime. When the beginning starts, we'll be here to the end. Now, if there is a large celestial body making an approach, or is already within our solar system and making its approach, going to do a pass-by, we're going to see an acceleration in frequency, increased amplitude and intensity of these changes. But so too, the distractions to keep us from in the aware of the knowledge. They are going to present everything else, but not what's coming. They, of course, are going to give us their cover story to explain the Earth changes. Again, as I stated before, the man-made global warming narrative, it's all a cover story. They know what's going to be happening to our planet. They know about the sea level rise, the ocean inundation to the coastal city, but they had to come up with a cover story. For most of what's going to be happening, but not the earthquakes. The earthquakes in diverse places, and I've been saying for about a year now, because of changes within the outer core where our magnetosphere is generated from. We're going to see earthquakes in new places and scriptures as well. But we're going to see new deep earthquakes or deep earthquakes in new places. As well as increase in volcanism, and I don't care if it's a dormant or an extinct volcano. Hey, guess what, kids? Do your reading. Acts 2, verse 19, last sentence. Billows of smoke coming up from the earth below. We'll see an increase in extremes in climate changes, destructive weather events, and we're not seeing that now. I'm a Canadian. My American friends, you tell me, are your tornadoes getting worse, more frequent, more deadly in places where you normally don't get them? I understand this shift is now going eastward on your tornadoes. We're going to have extremes in temperature variations. All of this affecting our ability to grow enough food for 8 billion people. We're going to have destabilization of the Earth's crusts, the earthquakes again, the volcanoes, the heat anomalies. But before that large celestial body, the asteroid impacts, such as it has been evidenced in history before. And this is another news article which is now you're seeing repeated on the internet. Tidal wave inundation on coastal cities. Extreme winds. So what do I expect to see happening? I expect to see an increase in the orchestrated distractions. And in my opinion, Ukraine is all part of it. We're about 420 days now. Cuban Missile Crisis with 13 days almost brought us to the brink of nuclear annihilation. We're about 420 days now in Ukraine and nothing's happened. Yes, there's been death, destruction, but nothing's happened. Now, I expect to see a continuation and non-reporting on earthquakes. In fact, the reporting of earthquakes have cut down to less than half since the Turkey earthquake. And the Turkey earthquake was not the first event sign. The first event sign was January 29, 2021 on our planet when on the Alaska Peninsula offshore, there was a 9.5 earthquake, which was very suddenly reduced to an 8.2. How do we know it was a 9.5? 3 reasons. 1, the global seismograph stations picked up that energy signature as a 9.5. 2, there was an antipode response. Antipode earthquake on the opposite side of the planet. However, that energy loses between 1 and 1.5 magnitude by the time it reaches the antipode. The antipode was the South Sandwich Islands, and that was an 8.2. You can't have an 8.2 and an antipode at 8.2. That was a 9.5, and it lost at 1.3 magnitude by the time it got to the antipode South Sandwich Islands. 3, 10 minutes after that earthquake, every single perimeter tsunami buoy from Honshu, Japan, all along the northern edge of the Pacific Plate, all the way to Oregon, went into event mode 10 minutes after that earthquake. There was, of course, no tsunami. What did happen? I've shown you this many times again. I'll show you again. Mantle plume. Or mantle plumes are anchored to the outer core of the planet. Magma wave action. Pushed up on the plate, the Pacific Plate. Set off all those tsunami buoys. Excuse me. And now we're back in the period of lull. So let's just give a few examples of the earthquakes in diverse places and there's new places where we never had them before. Recently, 4.1 off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada. North Sea, England, 4.1 at 115 kilometers deep. You've never had earthquakes there before. France, Turkey, earthquakes, deep earthquakes. So let's get into deep earthquakes. I've been covering Central America. All in a very short period of time, I lost count after 12. We've had deep earthquakes in Panama, Nicaragua, Honduras, Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula, Costa Rica. Many deep earthquakes where we never had deep earthquakes before. What do I think is happening? Well, once again, mantle plume. Our mantle plumes are coming alive now, kids. Remember, Acts 2, verse 19, last paragraph, last sentence. South China Sea off the coast of Borneo, deep earthquake, magnitude 5, 609 kilometers deep. The next day, a massive steam burst from the ocean waters. Timor Sea, between Timor and Australia, deep earthquake. Don't have deep earthquakes there. Santa Cruz Islands, Vanuatu. You don't have deep earthquakes there. We do now. But we've calmed down now. The energy from the Central America deep earthquakes is now reaching its antipode. The Andaman Sea, Indian Ocean off the coast of Indonesia. Maldives, excessive heat coming out through the ocean floor. And intensification. And if that celestial body is getting closer and closer, we're going to see more and more of the earthquakes in diverse places, the deep earthquakes, the heat anomalies, the volcanic eruptions. So they are going to do the programming into our subconsciousness on everything else, the global sea level rise, etc. But they gotta hide what's coming up there. Some of you may recall Bill Gates openly stated about 2 years ago he was going to fund an experiment to completely cover our planet with stratospheric aerosol injections, chemtrailing, to cool the planet. False narrative, cover story of course. Why? So we can't see what's coming. Maybe certain times of the year during orbits, Planet X is visible through telescopes. And those are the time periods when they need to try and cover things up. Just a thought. So I think that's about it. One more thing, all the heat anomalies. It's another thing I've been saying past year. We're going to see an increase in heat coming up through the crust. And I've given many examples already off the coast of Norway, South Norway, England, Scotland, Ireland, that whole region. Cabo Verde, which is south of the Canary Islands. One of its islands is completely lit up with heat, but no smoke, and the next day, all gone. North tip of New Zealand, about a week ago, same thing. Then it's all gone. Vesuvius. Earthquakes, but small, but shallow. Campiflegra. And so, people, if you're so consumed with things such as that buffoon Trump and the other buffoon, klutz, idiot, Biden, and of my country's leader too, Trudeau, then you're falling for the distractions. Ignore them all. Unplug yourself from the matrix news and start paying attention to your environment and what's happening to our planet. And if you wake up in the middle of the night, as I said before, go to your window. Take a look up into the skies. Say hi to him while you're at it. Night, folks.